wife or a maid. These people won't use work pie me. Jesus! Make I run fast before they catch me, oh!
Agatha grew up in a small village where everyone knew everyone. A place where dreams were often buried early, especially for girls. But Agatha stood out. She was beautiful, strikingly so. Wide hips, smooth skin, confident walk. When she entered a place, heads turned without permission. Older women whispered, "This girl will not suffer in life." Men admired her openly, and Agatha noticed. Slowly, without anyone teaching her, she learned something dangerous. People treated her better because of how she looked. So when the city called, when opportunity whispered, Agatha packed her bags and left. She didn't leave with fear. She left with confidence. The city was louder, faster, brighter. Agatha stayed with a friend who introduced her to city life, restaurants, selfies, soft music, and late-night conversations. Work was not stable. Money was not constant. But Agatha wasn't worried. Something will come, she always said. And deep down, she meant someone. To her, beauty was currency, and she believed the city was full of buyers. One evening, while scrolling through Facebook, a message popped up. "Hello, Angel. I saw your picture. You are very beautiful." She smiled. She had seen messages like that before. She replied casually. The man's name was Daniel. His profile showed clean suits, expensive watches, hotel rooms, airport selfies. A handsome man, a successful man, at least online. They chatted. One day became two. Two became weeks. Then something changed. Daniel sent her money. "No reason," he said, "just to take care of you." Agatha was surprised but pleased. He sent money again and again and again. To Agatha, this confirmed everything she already believed. Seeing a man who could send a lady money without asking anything in return was rare. It was around this time that Agatha's friend and roommate noticed something. They shared a small room in Abuja, a place where dreams came fast and danger came faster. One evening, while Agatha smiled at her phone, her roommate finally spoke. "Agatha," she said calmly, "you need to shine your eyes, oh." Agatha looked up confused. This is Abuja City. If you no ask questions, if you know they sharp or keep your ears for ground, you fit enter one chance. She paused, then added slowly.
"Make sure say this man be who him talk say him be. No let sweet mouth and small money turn your eye."
But Agatha only laughed. She was confident. Too confident. Agatha waved off the warning.
"No worry, my friend and sister like no other. I know wetin I dey do."
She showed her friend pictures. A handsome man, broad shoulders, clean beard, expensive lifestyle. "See am now," Agatha said proudly. "This one no be small boy, na real man, a correct man. He speaks well. He prays with me on the phone. He sends me money without me even begging. There is no doubt this one na husband material, 1,000 yards. Agatha smiled. Her roommate shook her head, but kept quiet. The love between Agatha and Daniel continued to grow, even though it existed only through phone calls and video chats. They spoke every day, shared plans, laughed together, and slowly built what felt like a real relationship.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire.
To Agatha, the distance did not matter anymore. She felt emotionally close to him, and the constant communication made her believe that meeting in person was only a matter of time. On Agatha's birthday, Daniel surprised her in a way she never expected. A courier arrived with a brand new iPhone and an expensive designer handbag. When she opened the package, she screamed with excitement. No one had ever done something like that for her before. She immediately called Daniel, thanking him repeatedly and telling him how grateful she was for everything he had been doing for her. Even though they had never met physically, the gifts made the relationship feel more real to her. The video calls, the money, and now the birthday surprise convinced Agatha that Daniel truly loved her. Not long after that, trouble started where Agatha and her friend were staying. They began having serious issues with their accommodation, and before they knew it, they were given a deadline to leave the apartment. The situation became urgent. Agatha's friend decided to move in temporarily with a colleague, but Agatha had no such option. She felt stranded and confused, not knowing where to go next. With no other choice, Agatha called Daniel and explained everything to him. She told him about the housing problem, the deadline, and how she had nowhere to stay. Daniel listened carefully and then made a suggestion that sounded thoughtful and reassuring. He reminded her that she was going to be his wife, so why struggle for a place to stay when his family had a house in Abuja? He suggested that she should go and stay with his parents for a while. According to him, it would also give them the opportunity to know her better before their marriage. Agatha felt relieved. The suggestion sounded reasonable, caring, and even responsible. She believed this was another sign that Daniel was serious about their future together. Without much hesitation, she packed her bags, informed her friend, and prepared herself. With excitement and confidence in her heart, Agatha went to Daniel's family house in Abuja, believing she was stepping closer to the life she had always imagined. When Agatha finally arrived at Daniel's family house, she was greeted with warmth and affection that immediately made her feel at home. Daniel's parents were kind and welcoming, and his 7 sisters treated her with surprising friendliness. Agatha could hardly believe her luck. In her mind, she thought, "This is the kind of family I have always dreamed of joining. Such a big, happy, and loving family." She felt proud to be there and reassured that Daniel's world was as perfect as it had seemed over the phone. The first week was almost like a dream for Agatha. She barely had to lift a finger. Breakfast was served to her in bed every morning, and her only responsibilities were to bathe, go to work, and come back to rest. For someone used to independence and struggles in the city, this kind of comfort felt like luxury. Agatha felt appreciated and respected, and she believed that her life was finally on the path she had envisioned. However, things began to change in the second week.
Good morning. What a beautiful day.
Small signs, easy to overlook, started appearing. In the mornings, she was asked to wash dishes and sweep the house before leaving for work. In the evenings, she was expected to do the night dishes after returning home. At first, Agatha did not see it as overly taxing. She thought, "It's a normal part of living in a family home and I am happy to help." But as the days went on, the chores kept piling up. The tasks grew more demanding, leaving her exhausted by the time she got to work. There was barely time to rest, and she started noticing how little attention was being paid to her comfort compared to the first week. What had once felt like a welcoming environment began to feel like a routine of relentless obligations. The house, which had seemed like a haven, now felt like a place where she was being used under the guise of care. By the end of the second week, Agatha realized that life with Daniel's family was far more demanding than she had anticipated, and the shine of her dream was beginning to fade under the weight of expectation. Agatha could no longer ignore the weight of the chores and responsibilities piling upon her. Exhausted and frustrated, she finally decided to complain to Daniel. She called him one evening, her voice tight with irritation, demanding an explanation. Daniel, calm as ever, reassured her that everything she was going through was part of a test. "You have to do everything to pass," he said. At first, Agatha tried to accept this explanation. She reminded herself that love required patience and that sacrifices were sometimes necessary. A few weeks later, some of Daniel's sisters left for school, while others went back to their respective places of work and homes. Agatha felt a brief moment of relief. She thought that with fewer people around, life would become easier, that at least now it would be just her and Daniel's parents. But her hope quickly faded. Things did not get better. In fact, even the simplest needs, like cooking her meals, became her sole responsibility. Daniel stopped sending money regularly, and when he did, it never seemed to last. Somehow, the moment money arrived in her account, it was gone, used for household chores, groceries, and fuel for the generator. Agatha found herself cooking meals, buying supplies, and covering every expense, all from money that was supposed to be Daniel's. By the end of each week, she often had to use her own salary to cover what she could not. The pressure became unbearable, and after weeks of silent suffering, Agatha felt she could no longer handle it alone. She reached out to her former roommate and friend, pouring out everything she had been experiencing.
If no be say I get good body, I for dey like pala fish.
She described the relentless chores, the financial burden, and how Daniel seemed distant and unconcerned. She needed advice, guidance, anything to help her understand what to do next. Her roommate listened carefully and offered simple but firm counsel. Try to handle it yourself. Stand your ground. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. It was practical advice, but it also reminded Agatha of her own strength, a strength she had almost forgotten in the midst of the testing, the chores, and the constant demands of a family that no longer felt welcoming. After months of endless chores, constant demands, and little support from Daniel, Agatha finally reached a breaking point. She realized that she had spent 8 precious years of her life caring for people who treated her more like a maid than a wife. She had done way more than the money and gifts she received from Daniel. The turning point came when Daniel's mother traveled for Mugo to one of her daughter's houses, leaving behind her bedridden husband. Agatha suffered though. Agatha, without complaint at first, put her own life and work on hold to care for him. The sisters who could have helped were busy with school or their own lives and did not return to assist. Agatha found herself entirely alone, managing the household, cooking, cleaning, and nursing Daniel's father, while Daniel remained distant, sending little money and offering no real help. It was in the quiet moments, while washing dishes or tending to Daniel's father, that Agatha began to reflect. She thought about the sacrifices she had made, the sleepless nights, the money she had spent from her own salary, and the months of her youth she had given to a family that seemed to take her presence for granted. The realization hit her like a wave. She had been used, manipulated under the guise of love and family, and she had allowed herself to be trapped because of trust in a man she had never truly met. With a mixture of sadness, anger, and clarity, Agatha made a decision. She would not spend another day sacrificing herself for people who neither appreciated her nor respected her. But before leaving, Agatha faced one final test, or so they thought. Daniel's parents and siblings had been chatty the whole morning and the day before. "Agatha!" she shouted from the sitting room downstairs. "Come down, my daughter. Today is a great day for our family." Agatha hurriedly went down, only to see Daniel's mother standing by the kitchen door holding some money. "You know your sister-in-law's in-laws are coming today. Take this 10,000 naira and run to the market. Buy foodstuffs for rich egusi soup and pounded yam. Buy a big chicken too." Mama, all these things inside this 10,000 naira. "Yes. Agatha, this is one of the ways and days to show you are a good wife." "But Mama, your other daughters are here too. Tell them to cook the food. I will be a little busy today." "You are my son's wife, and you have to be obedient to your family. We are a family now." "But he hasn't married me yet," Agatha replied. "You are already our wife, my daughter. It's just the ceremonial rites that remain." Agatha murmured silently. "So take the money and go to the market fast. "But this money won't be enough," Agatha said, Edwin. "What are you here for, if not to fill these little gaps in the family? This is how you learn to manage your home when finally you get married to my son." Agatha did not argue again. She nodded politely, her mind already made up about leaving. She stepped out with a shopping bag, walking through the market as if she were buying the soup ingredients for their in-laws. But when she returned, the bag was only partially filled, just her personal needs: powder, eyeshadow, a bra, and some pants, enough to give the impression that she had shopped, though it was far from it. Luckily for her, when she came back, they had already gone upstairs. Without drawing attention to herself, she placed a pot on the stove, acting as if she were beginning the cooking. Inside, she sketched an image of a chicken, a pot of hot egusi soup and fufu, placed it inside the pot and covered it. She had already packed her belongings, quietly slipping everything she would need into her bag. While the family believed she was busy in the kitchen, Agatha moved with precision. At the right moment, she grabbed her bag, slipped through the back door, and ran. Her steps were fast and determined, each stride fueled by months of frustration, exhaustion, and a longing for freedom. Even as her heart pounded and fear of being caught flickered in her mind, she did not stop. Nothing could hold her back. That afternoon, Agatha ran from the house, leaving behind the family, the chores, and the man who promised love but only delivered control. Back to Daniel's family house. A couple of hours later, the in-laws called to say they were on their way. Excited, Daniel's mother ran down the stairs to check on how far Agatha had gone. On getting to the kitchen, she couldn't perceive any aroma. She quickly opened the empty pot, and inside it was a sketch of a fowl, a pot of soup, and fufu, with a note by the side that read, "Delicious egusi soup with chicken and big fufu." With anger and disappointment mixed together, she screamed, "Agatha!" But for the first time in months, Agatha felt free. Free to live for herself. And that, more than anything, felt like home.